My M43 wife, F47 wife tried to stop me getting vaccinated and now isn't speaking to me. Too long did not read. My wife, married 12 years, is anti-vax and pro-conspiracy, and didn't want to get me vaccinated. I have health problems and work with high-risk people, so I did. Now she isn't speaking to me and I'm scared our marriage is over. So, over the pandemic, my wife has gotten more and more into groups like QAnon and anti-vax conspiracies. I don't agree with them, but as much as I can, I respect her. I've never asked that she gets vaccinated, even though I'm worried about her, but I don't expect any possibility of her getting to decide whether I get vaccinated. I tried to debate various topics before, but one of the characteristics that I simultaneously love and sigh over is that she's incredibly determined, and once she's made a decision, nothing really changes her mind. We had a couple of shouting arguments, and I decided I didn't want that anymore, so I made it clear that I didn't share her opinions, but that I respected her right to have them, and started just ending the conversations. We still talked about a couple of things, and I did challenge her on some issues that I found impossible to let pass, but I never let it get personal, and I stopped whenever it got heated. I told her about my first vaccination. I didn't tell her the exact time and day, but I told her that I was going to get it. She seemed to take it as well as I could have expected. The following part is my fault. She said that she wanted to talk to me before my next shot, and I just forgot. It's crap of me. I'll be honest, a part of me probably also didn't want to spend 8 weeks having the same repetitive argument, which was cowardly. I got up for my second shot the day before yesterday. She asked about my day, and I told her I was off to get vaccinated. She demanded that I cancel the appointment. I refused. She said that I hadn't told her in the heat of the moment. I said that it was because I knew how she'd react. That's on me too. We had a shouting argument. I told her my feelings about her beliefs. I didn't say that I thought she was stupid or bad, because I don't think that. I did say that I didn't think they were true, that I didn't give them credit, and that I believe some of the people behind it are knowingly lying. I also said that I was getting vaccinated to protect her, to protect the vulnerable people I work with, and because some people with health issues a lot less bad than mine have died, a lot more than people who have died of vaccine complications. I left her in tears. When I accidentally said, "I love you," she told me I shouldn't dare say that and threw things at the front door. I went to work all day, spent some time out that she was expecting me to be out for. I was helping a friend, and went home. I apologized for not telling her, and for refusing to have the conversation. She replied with some of her beliefs about vaccines and that my being vaccinated was going to make her ill. Part of my argument was that it was my body and my choice, and that my not being vaccinated was likely to affect me more than her. I, stupidly, tried to give a factual answer, and she told me she wants me to stay away from her for a while. We've been living like strangers in the same tiny studio apartment for 2 days. I'm worried that our marriage is over. I've compromised a lot. I've stopped eating meat because of her beliefs, I've stopped drinking alcohol, and I've dropped certain friends that she doesn't feel are healthy. I even have a quantum seal on my PC and phone, but this isn't something I can compromise on. I'm also quite upset because I've made pains to respect her beliefs and right to choices even though I don't agree with them. I don't know what to do, and I'm worried it's the end of our marriage. I'm scared our marriage is over. This marriage needs to be over. She's gone insane. And she's becoming abusive towards you. It's heartbreaking, but that's how it is. Lawyer up. I understand how you could feel responsible for some of this, but it's a lot simpler. She isn't respecting your right to do with your body what you want. You are allowed to make a unilateral decision about your body and refuse to discuss it. If she has been drifting into the conspiracies, this may mean the end of your marriage was coming and this was the event that caused it. Is she the same person you met and married? Do you like this person? Would you date this person? She sounds extremely controlling, and you sound like you've been a pushover on past issues and extremely willing to conform to her wants. You stood your ground and did something against her wishes, and she doesn't know how to handle it. She threw things at you once. She'll do it again. It's time to leave. No. We do not need to respect stupid-ass opinions. They need to be called out and ridiculed for what they are. I'd hate to say it, but it may be. I find the people who have fallen into QAnon conspiracies and the like, are not coming back to reality. Something broke in them. Your wife is a fucking moron. I'm not sure what attributes you're looking for in a partner, but for me, not being a fucking moron is pretty high in the list. Don't respect her right to believe whatever she wants, that's nonsense. She's got the totality of human knowledge in her pocket 24/7 and she is choosing to learn about conspiracy theories and engaging in behavior that will extend this fucking pandemic. That is entirely on her. You don't have to respect that, in fact you should be doing the opposite. You shouldn't tolerate this in your life. If this means she.is no longer in it, well, maybe she needs to face consequences. Imagine telling people you got divorced because your husband refused to believe vaccines are harmful. I've compromised a lot, I've stopped eating meat because of her beliefs, I've stopped drinking alcohol, and I've dropped certain friends that she doesn't feel are healthy. I even have a quantum seal on my PC and phone, but this isn't something I can compromise on. And #X200B. Quantum seal, fucking lol. And #X200B. This divorce in waiting is a silent blessing. I, 26F, caused my coworker, 27M, to quit his job. My, 26F, coworker, 27M, broke up with his girlfriend a few months ago. His ex was extremely possessive and when they were still together, he mostly kept to himself and did not interact with any women. Post-breakup, he became more comfortable socializing with his female coworkers, one of whom being me. Especially me. Our coworkers teased us about it because it was clear he was being way too friendly with me, flirting with me, staring at me a lot, and showing extra care and attention that he wasn't showing to anyone else. As he was now single and seemed really interested in me, I decided to pursue him. We work in different departments and there are other office couples doing just fine, so our personal relationship will not affect our working relationship. We were not dating, though it felt like it was headed in that direction. Or so I thought. One day, his ex contacted me threatening to kill herself and accused us of cheating. I was so shocked and confused. I was even more shocked and confused when she sent me a voice recording of him accusing me of relentlessly pursuing him despite his disinterest in me, as well as screenshots of him messaging her, begging to get back together with her. I talked to him about it the following day and he was like a different person. He apologized, told me he loved her and never had feelings for me. He brushed off his flirtations with excuses. That same day his ex demanded to meet both of us. He maintained that he only loves her and he just wanted to be friends with me. She believed me when I told her my side of the story, so she gave him an ultimatum: to stay in his job and continue our friendship, or to quit and get back together with her. He did not hesitate to choose the latter. Meeting his ex and listening to her berate him also made me suspect he was in an emotionally abusive relationship. He does not have friends outside of work and she did not allow him to befriend his mostly female coworkers. She credits his success to herself, saying she pushed him to work for his promotion, for his vehicle, and that he'd be nothing without her. And despite getting back together with the woman he loves, over the past few days he looks so tired and dejected. Another coworker tried to talk to him about our suspicions. Instead he handed his phone off to his ex, who told us that we should mind our own business, that it's not a toxic relationship, and if we do feel that way, what can we do? I feel conflicted. I do feel hurt because I basically got played, but it's not my first encounter with this type of man, so I have no issues moving on. He chose his girlfriend over his job. I did not force him to make that decision, so I feel that I have nothing to feel guilty about. But I do. I feel guilty for indirectly causing him to quit. He just got a promotion that he had worked so hard for. He was so happy when our boss announced it. I should have just lied to his ex. I shouldn't even have responded to her texts. Threatening to kill herself was a manipulation tactic. It breaks my heart to see him in this current state, to see what kind of woman he chose to be with. My coworkers and I agree that he genuinely looked his happiest during our friendship. I don't know what to do to help him when he doesn't even want anyone to help him. Too long did not read. Possibly, emotionally cheated with my coworker. His abusive ex made him quit his job. I feel guilty. You did not have an emotional affair with him. He is overly devoted to an abuser and she may have gaslit him into believing that, but it's nonsense. They were broken up and you were just friendly with him. Would you feel comfortable telling him how disturbed you still are by his GF's actions towards you? If he tries to get her involved, tell him you don't feel comfortable contacting anyone who emotionally manipulated you. It's his choice and he chose her and quit his job for her. So let him go. It's his problem, not yours. I bet in 3 months he will message you saying it was a lie and he had feelings for you. I'm still trying to wrap my head around why you would have even met with her. You don't owe her a goddamn thing. Well, let him sail that burning ship. All you can do is wave and walk the other way. You did nothing. You were a pawn in this D-bag's emotional horseshit. You got played, sister. Lesson learned. This is not your fault. It's his. He flirted with you, then threw you under the bus when his psycho ex started shit. He was responsible for you receiving harassing phone calls. And no, there was no cheating involved if he was actually single at the time. If he lied about them breaking up, that's on him, not you. So, stop taking the blame for his behavior. He obviously stayed in contact with, responded to his ex when she messaged him. You not responding to her would have made no difference. A grown man deciding to quit his job is not your responsibility, and since there's no way you would be able to help someone who does not want help, that's where you need to prioritize your own peace. There's no need to feel guilty, although it honors you that you feel sorry for him after the kind of rejected you. I should have just lied to his ex. I shouldn't even have responded to her texts. It wouldn't have changed anything, let alone helped. She would have dismissed your lies because they were inconvenient to her narrative, or spun your silence into an admission of guilt, or fixated on someone or something else to punish him for daring to try and imagine a life beyond her control. This toxic dynamic is theirs and theirs alone, and unfortunately, there is nothing you can do to help him unless and until he decides he wants to be free of it once and for all. My F41 friend thinks my current boyfriend, M21, is abusive, but I don't. Hi. Throwaway for obvious reasons. Too long did not read. Basically just the title, but I want my friend to like him, too sad face. I've been friends with this friend for years, since early high school. They rock. Very charismatic, very fun, extremely supportive. Very ride or die. Unfortunately, they had some really horrendous relationships that left them with a very active, abuser radar. That being said, they think that I'm being abused by my current boyfriend. My boyfriend is amazing in a lot of ways. He buys me things for my hobbies, art, merch, that are honestly a little expensive for me to buy for myself, so I really appreciate it. He gives me all the attention I can ask for, and he is very physically affectionate and open about liking snuggles, being cutesy, what he likes in bed. Overall, great guy. However, obviously, all people have flaws. He is depressed and anxious, and he sometimes projects his insecurities onto me. No biggie, I do that too. About a year ago, we did a little breakup get back together that centered around a breakdown he had about being hyper-depressed and stressed. Wanting me to find someone who can support me, not knowing what he's doing with his career or his life. It was around final season, if that helps. Obviously, I called my friend crying. They did the, "Oh you're so much better off, etc., men ain't shit, etc., talk." Then, we got back together. Since then, I haven't been talking as much to the friend. A couple reasons. 1. I'm also anxious and I unfortunately tend to seek approval in all relationships, platonic, romantic, or otherwise. I felt like they'd be disappointed for getting back together with him. I know they're probably not, but anxiety. 2. This school year was really rough, and I didn't have much time. I barely called my own parents, let alone friends. 3. Pandemic. However, my friend has gotten it into their head that he is abusing me, because they think that he isolated me from my friends. I'm scared that they're right, and he did somehow isolate me without me noticing. I did notice that I have been interacting with my friends, family way less and interacting with him way more, and I would accidentally lose the friend when they're right. On the other hand, I don't feel abused in any way. I really like spending time with him, and we love the same shows and video games. It makes sense to spend the majority of my time with him, plus we're romantically involved, and I always assumed partners, significant others were joined at the hip ha 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 ha. I love him deeply and I'm confident that he cares for me, too. He even got me a rare item for my collection, imported from the country of origin, and can I just say dream guy? I hope to marry this man if he will have me, and I want my friend of many years to be my maid, man, person, still haven't thought of a gender-neutral term, of honor. But I can't have that if they think he's a horrible person. I'm also scared that he might be a manipulative or abusive guy, and I'm too blindsided by my rose-tinted POV to see it. Please help skeptical smiley face. Fully aware that this might be above Reddit's pay grade. Oh. Before you all ask. We've been together for about 2 years, and I know that's fast to think about marriage, but it's a young girl's wishful thinking. This is a throwaway, so I'm not worried about anyone IRL finding this and judging me for thinking about marriage so soon lol. You say you fear he's isolating you. But your post doesn't say anything about him ever discouraging you from seeing or talking to your friends or family or anyone else. If you say you're planning to see a friend or something, does he ever discourage you or make you feel bad or say anything negative about it? Is he physically stopping you from seeing people? Is he telling you you can't see people? Is he guilting you into not seeing people? If no, then he's not isolating you. It's normal to interact with your friends less than you used to once you are in a relationship with someone. If he's not actively trying to isolate you, then I don't see a problem there. You appear to be purposely vague about your friend's gender and sexual preference. If there's any chance they could have feelings for you, then I would guess they're just trying to get you to break up for their own selfish reasons. You're worried about what your friend thinks, but you're telling us your version of things, not theirs. In your version everything sounds fine. What would their version be? What examples or events would they bring up to support their side of things? Maybe your friend is jealous of you not spending enough time with them? Nothing in your post or comment struck me as alarming, so that would be my explanation to this accusation. The only way we could really tell is if he is the one making these decisions for you. If you were to ask to go to your parents' house for the weekend, would he discourage you? If you were to want to call your friend for a couple hours, would he complain? If you wanted to go get a new hobby that doesn't involve him, would he be mad? Those would be red flags that he's isolating you. But if you are just having a good time with your boyfriend and growing apart from people naturally, I don't see that as a relationship problem. If you want to maintain those relationships, you need to work on them. Not missing out on hanging out with them or calling them when you get the chance. Call your parents, call your friends, schedule times to hang out with people that aren't your boyfriend. Sounds like your friend is trying to fuck up a relationship because, as you've indicated, he isn't actually isolating you. 2 years is a pretty good length of time to get to know someone. It seems like you have a good handle on his faults and his positive traits. I don't see you with rose-colored glasses. I see more of a reasoned and balanced view of your partner, with you understanding his pros and cons. I'd say you should go with your gut on this one. My wife admitted to cheating on me. My wife recently had more confidence than usual. She suffered from long-term self-consciousness of her body image. She started to dress up and take some sexy pictures for me and sent them to me randomly. She also started having sex with me frequently. I appreciated the gesture since our libidos have never quite matched up. Later that week, though, her behavior was out of place. She was turning her phone off as soon as I'd walk in the room. I'd see her smiling or laughing at text messages, caught her lying about who she was texting, and she even hid her phone at night to prevent me from going through it. She had an issue several years ago where she was texting inappropriately with some coworkers, and I caught her by going through her phone. Before you guys call me a monster for violating her privacy, I only did it after she acted extremely suspiciously. So I went through her phone and lo and behold found photos and videos that she shared with some guy she met on Tinder, and he shared some back. I was really hurt by that, since it was the same thing as what happened years ago. While I was doing that, she came into the room, and knew immediately what was going on. I could see on her face that she was mad, but she knew she was in the wrong. When I confronted her, she told me it meant nothing and she was only doing it because I have been kind of closed off since the last time this happened. The fact that I wasn't giving her the attention she needed is why she found someone else to share those videos with. I felt sick to my stomach. I felt like it was my fault, but at the same time I knew I didn't do anything wrong. She was totally honest with me and said she would never do it again, the same thing she said last time. She also said since she was being perfectly honest, she needed to tell me the truth about the last time. Turns out it was more than just photos and videos. She admitted that they had sex once, and kept it from me all these years. I'm heartbroken. I feel so violated and disrespected. She made a mockery of our marriage, showed no remorse for lying every day for years. I don't know if I believe she won't do it again. There's not a lot I do trust anymore from her. We had a pretty long and healthy discussion about our relationship and our marriage, and I'm not sure how to proceed now. I feel like I should leave her for this, but if I do, her life and my children's life will become significantly harder as I am the only income in the house. I also feel like if I stay with her I will never be able to trust her again. I can't even look at her without being angry and hurt. I know a lot of people will say to prioritize myself and my happiness by leaving her, but I can't do that without seriously impacting my kid's life. And honestly I don't want to leave her. Mostly because I feel like I won't ever get over her and because I don't want my kids to suffer. I want her to be faithful to me, but she is asking me to shower her with attention, which is extremely difficult now given the circumstance. She has expressed remorse for what she's done, but I'm still having trouble with believing her. My whole life has been flipped upside down now because of her. So she cheats on you, lies about it, and you forgive her. Then she cheats on you and lies some more. So now your trust in her is 0 or negative, and you'll have the mind movies going in your head, and the comparisons to her other 2 guys, and feelings of inadequacy. Inevitably resentment will grow, and guess who sees this the whole time? Your kids. If she did it once but then she rededicated herself, made improvements, and it never happened again, then maybe I would work it out. But this isn't the first time. And she didn't fix herself. And it did happen again. Which means it will keep happening. I sat strike 2, she's out. The typical, "you're not giving me attention so I cheated" excuse. Nice. Not a keeper. Sue wife gets caught lying and cheating and immediately blames you. I would be done. It's not good reason to stay for kids. It's better for kids to grow up in 2 homes than a broken one. And by staying in this marriage you're showing your kids it's okay to be cheated on. She's cheated on you twice. You already see where her mind is and where her priorities are. The possibility of her ever being faithful to you is slim to none. Gotta be honest, I think this one is one I would take to therapy. There are just way too many moving parts to this for me to feel comfortable making a decision alone, especially regarding how it would impact your children. But whatever you do, make sure you're putting your comfort and mental health first. Best of luck, Hart. Kick her ass out. She broke the marriage. She has expressed remorse for what she's done, but I'm still having trouble with believing her. She's only sorry she got caught. If you hadn't, then her affairs would still be in full bloom. Based on Cheater's Handbook, they only had sex once equals they had sex multiple times. Cheaters lie. They downgrade what they say, that's a fact. You are correct in your assumption. There's no reason to believe her. She lied to you in your face. So everything she's saying now is considered a lie unless provided with facts. Good luck.